Greetings, everybody. I'd like to welcome Quita Remick to this interview. Quita, can you share with everybody a little bit about yourself?
First of all, I want to thank you very much for having the opportunity to work with you on helping me really transform my life. I am just so grateful. Thank you very much for being in the right place at the right time. So first, let me thank you for that.
You're welcome.
So as Adam said, so I'll tell you a little bit about myself. I am 56 years old and I've been a high performer all my life. I played super competitive tennis, played in college, and then ended up going what they call satellites, which are kind of that level right before you hit um, the main frame of the main computer where you make money. I've got a couple of degrees. I've been a business executive in the corporate world, and I have a business where I work with entrepreneurs and I help them grow their businesses by literally people with existing businesses, and I help them grow them by focusing on the people innovation and primarily working with people.
And that's a wonderful segue into how we connected.
Yeah, I work also with David Bear Businesses, and that's where I met you, Adam.
Yeah.
You were a client of David's, and I was your assigned coach.
In that whole process, you got to learn about what I was developing in terms of a business plan and my coaching and uh, and then so and then I got to learn about a little bit about you and some of your challenges, being a high performer. um, are you would you I'd love to hear a little bit about the challenges that you were presented with in your life
Sure.
after tennis and the business world, and how you've met them and overcome them, and
I like anybody, right? You're on this planet, and you just go through things. And part of my life is I had a lot of trauma in my childhood. I grew up in a house that was very violent, verbally and physically. There was just a lot of that in my household. And getting out and competing on the tennis court was where I could focus my time and attention. And so what I learned at a very young age was just to go out and perform and just keep going and going. And if I got more trophies or if I made more money, then it meant that I was worthwhile and valuable. So along the way, I picked up a lot of addiction. I one day at a time, God willing, on the 18th of December, I will celebrate 35 years clean and sober. Um,
awesome. That's
and yeah, thank
amazing.
you. I appreciate that. I really appreciate that. And I grew up with a really twisted relationship with food. I've been bulimic. I've been anorexic. And what you'll hear about is along the way where I met Adam is I was in a really bad place and I had a bad relationship with food at that time. And I was using food as a crutch, right? It's not uncommon to have addicts, people that have addiction issues to kind of switch them, whether it's, from workaholism, which I still am one day at a time trying to smash. But it can be shopping, it can be perfection, and in my case, food was one that I've been underweight on one side where I was really too thin, and then I was really overweight, and um, and now I'm down 60 pounds. So with Adam's help, I'm down 41.5 pounds from when we started. So all of this to say, I was just in a really twisted and troubled relationship with food. And then because I kept moving from place to place, like addiction to addiction, it's like whack-a-mole sometimes.
Yeah.
And so then I started to really, I knew I needed to address the food. And so I thought to myself, the light bulb went off, and I was following Adam on Facebook, and I saw that he was doing a 30-day transformation, and I was in the right place at the right time. And I'm like, I'm going to go in. This is time. It's time for me to do this now. It really is. And that's how I got hooked up with you. I think it's been about 4 or 5 months now. since we've been working together, right?
Yeah. So as the process was ongoing, what was your initial experience with that first 30 days in terms of what you were going through and how you're processing um, 30 days of superfood nutrition and a new perspective on eating.
Well, in the beginning, I have to tell you, it was really easy, and it was almost like relief because all I did in the beginning, it was just the detox version. I did a product with Adam. I'm like, you know what? I just don't even want to think about what to eat or any of that. So I went all in on this product that he had to help aid in the cleanse to
Power
get rid of
shake.
all the. Pardon me.
The power shake.
The power shake. Well, it's a products by Purium, so it's not
Sure.
only to allow you the food and the meal replacement, but it's just to eliminate the glyphosate that has been stored. And I was just eating so much junk. I wasn't really eating food that was good for my body
Yeah.
because I was eating junk. And so I just needed a detox. I didn't have energy. I was tired. And I wasn't even sleeping. And I was really overweight. And so all of this to say, I started, and it was just a relief to just all I needed to do, and I knew I needed to do is here's a list of vegetables that I could eat and eat them raw. And here is kind of like my recipe for the shakes to take these pills at this time and to do this. So it was a relief to not have to think about making meals or any of that. And so all I do is just eat the raw vegetables. That's it in between hand. Even though Adam provided us with some recipes, it was great. And in the beginning, I was hungry like the first couple of days, but I was bound and determined knowing that I had a list of veggies that I could eat. I just stayed on the green side of those, ate a lot of cucumbers. And then probably about day 5 or 6 into it, I just kind of lost my appetite, right? And then I think after the 30 days, I think I hit a plateau and it just kind of like leveled out there. And and then I think I lost about 18 and a half pounds. And then I'm like, Adam, I don't want to stop. We need to work together. Like, how can I work with you? Because I'm okay if I'm following this really drastic, radical thing. And now that I've cleaned out my system, I really need to learn how to eat. But I want to eat well, and I want to develop a better relationship with food. So then we moved forward, and I asked you about juicing. I'd never juiced, and so I ended up getting a juicer. I have this Omega juicer at home, and then I went on this juice fast for a little while. Right? I'm like, let's. He's like, if you feel good now and you want to feel better, like let's do a juice fast. So then I went all in and did one for I think I don't know if it was 2 weeks or 21 days. I can't remember. And
I think it was over 2 weeks. Yeah.
okay. Yeah. So that's all I did was just juice, right? Continue to cleanse the body, and just drank a lot of green juice and other juices. And man, I was just sleeping well. I had so much energy. I was just like blown away. And then along the way, it's like, okay, I know that this ride's going to come to an end, and I need to learn how to develop a relationship and learn how to eat. And then we started to talk about different recipes. And along the way, started to make some like raw vegan fettuccine. I was just blown away at how good the raw food was. And I just like my skin's a glowing, and I just felt so good. And along the way, I dropped about 41 and a half pounds. I went down 3 dress sizes, uh, and I'm feeling great. I'm feeling great, and
Amazing.
I've added some cooked food into my diet. First, I started to add a couple cooked food, and it was just like, oh my god, it just tasted so delicious. Even though the raw food was awesome, it's like eating cooked vegetables and grilled vegetables. It was like, wow, this is amazing. Um, and then we added some of the, quote unquote processed plant-based foods. There's some great products that Abbott's Butcher makes that's really,
Hmm.
really good. Like they've got plant-based chorizo that's to die for. And then some of the Beyond Burger stuff. So today, where I've settled is um, I eat 3 days during the week. It's 100% raw with juice. Like
Mm.
that's it. So
Wow.
just vegetables. And we juice for 3 days. I have my niece living with me, and so it's really easy to do that because we kind of keep each other going. And then I allow myself to eat some cooked food. So I have some eggs from time to time, and I have some fish from time to time. And I would say, out of any given week, probably um, 2 or 3 days, I eat some eggs and some fish, maybe some eggs and fish, and then add the raw foods in there and have some cooked foods. And then the other 3 days are 100% raw vegan and juicing.
Wow. Yeah, I mean that it sounds like you moved through this and using what I was sharing and what you were experiencing with your niece, you just kind of created what worked for you and are developing it ongoing. Is that accurate?
Yeah, I think a lot of it is with your guidance, Adam. Like I wouldn't be where I am if I didn't continue to work with you because I needed that additional support to kind of help me bridge that gap between having a really unhealthy relationship with food. And because of you, and I'm so grateful, is you've turned me on to, and I would say that before I started with you, I would say that I had maybe 15% of plants in my diet. Now, granted, I've always loved vegetables and I've always loved fruits, but when you get used to eating ice cream and cookies
Yeah.
and all of that stuff, it's easy to allow that to go by the wayside. So I went from, and so I would say that right now, I can't even tell you the last time that I had anything sweet or with sugar. And I forgot the other byproduct too is that I have no joint pain. And so
Wow.
I was out, I think after 4 or 5 months, we were out with somebody and a bunch of people for dinner. And yeah, we were at this place called the Barrio Cafe out here in Phoenix. And somebody ordered a dessert and they're like, well, have a spoon, right? And so I took a couple of bites and it was delicious, right? I
Hmm.
had dairy for the first time and there was caramel and how can you can't go wrong with those flavors. But the following day my joints just didn't feel good and I didn't feel good. So it's like note to self, just get back on track again. And so all of this to say, yeah, with your guidance and turning me on to vegetables and introducing me to vegetables in a brand new way and what I could do with them is just amazing. And the guidance too with the one-on-one coaching related to the juicing, making a kitchen appliance purchase there, and then I'm on to a dehydrator next, right?
That's
Haven't
awesome.
quite haven't pulled the trigger on that one yet, but we'll do it soon. So yeah, it's not figured out yet because I'm still learning what foods I can and cannot eat. And what I mean by that is how my body reacts to them, right?
Yeah, well, it's a great thing. I'm with you on this journey, and I just um, your discipline and commitment. Um, I guess it's when you start seeing those results, it's hard not to dive in. And I applaud you for for pushing ahead and being so open to this exploration. Now, one of the things you said was about how quickly your body responded and like delivered you a message about eating that dessert. Um, was that surprising to you? Was that how did you feel when you? Are there any other instances where you got that like almost
Yep.
instantaneous message?
Yep. So it's happened a couple of times because when your system's so clean, you're really loath to go out and try something different unless you're home and you're close to a bathroom because your body, you just don't know, right? Um, and and also too, when you feel so good, why ruin a good thing? Like
Yeah.
why ruin it? So I would say that there's that. The other thing too is even within the vegan food, the cooked vegan food, processed food, my body does not like wheat gluten. So I don't eat anything with wheat gluten in it. And some of Like some of the Abbott's products, I would recommend people to try that. The stuff's really, really good, but the chicken has wheat gluten in it.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of the vegan food that has wheat gluten. So it's to find the gluten-free version. For me has been really important, which people don't really think about that is that you got to read the labels. You always have to read the labels.
Very
So
important.
yeah, and so that I had an adverse reaction to that. Um, don't really know about the dairy, but I've found a lot of really great plant-based creamers, so there's no reason to switch. It's working for me now. And then that one, the other one that I got the reaction to is we had pizza one day, right? And man, same thing. That's how I figured out with the wheat too. Is I went off and I just didn't feel good the following day.
Yeah.
So, like on top of the weight loss, okay, which is great. And who doesn't like weight loss? And when you need weight loss, you like that. But ultimately, I just feel so good. My energy is great. Um, just I feel my self-image has improved, and so my whole world has expanded because the one thing I knew I was really good at was I'm good at working. I can get results and I produce results for people. But as a result of this, as I'm getting back into my body, because I used to be lean for a long, long time, I gained close to 100 pounds within the period of about 8 to 10 years. I was not in a good marriage, and there were a bunch of things, and it's an excuse, but it was myself, right? It's what I used to medicate me. And so now I'm heading back, and I'm connecting back to that person. Um, and so it's like, it's not so much about the weight. It's just me just connecting back to me and just feeling good, you know? It's just, and I thank you for that gift. I really do. Because now anything and everything's possible, right? I've got the energy, my joints don't hurt. And I've added exercise and hiking and started to build some muscle back in, some strength training back into it, and it's no longer a chore for me. I've been doing anywhere from like 10 to 14,000 steps a day, just because it's easy. I've got work to do, and then when I've got time on the weekends, or if I've got an evening where I can cut out early, an afternoon, I'll go up and hit a trail. But I've added the strength training back in. It's been
That's
great.
great.
Yeah.
Great. Well, I'm here to let you know that, we're over 4 months in, but this is still, the journey has just begun. And it seems like, I know with your personality and your drive that you're gonna continue to succeed and continue to transform and uh, evolve and grow in different aspects. I mean, like you were saying, it like the 30-day transformation um, deals. I mean, specifically, it's a physical event because we're working with food and supplements that pull toxins out of your body, but the emotional and the even the, I don't know, spiritual impact kind of just
Yeah.
spills over. And so I can see that in you and the way you carry yourself, and the brightness in your eyes. Everything is not only physical, but I can see the transformation, and that's amazing. I applaud that. Yeah.
Thank you. And if I can say one thing for people that are out there as entrepreneurs, right? Or small business owners, or even if you're working a job, it really doesn't matter, is without having your health and without feeling good, like that's the most important thing. So if you're struggling and you're not feeling good, either because your body's hurting you or because your bodysuit has gotten larger than you wanted it to be, I am telling you to run, don't walk, and sign up for the next 30-day challenge, because it will change your life. And then after you finish the 30-day challenge is just table stakes. It just opens up. It just gets you into the poker game, or it gets you into the well-being, and it just gets you in the game. And then after that, I would invite you to continue and coach with Adam. because it's through that additional support and through the conversations that I had with him. He's like, "Oh, why don't you try this? Why don't you try that?" And some of the times I just got stuck in sometimes it was just as small as recipe stuff for me. Uh, and it's just giving me some ideas so I don't hit my head on them. And then some of it was him saying, "Whoa, whoa, whoa, you got to slow your roll. You're putting too much in there." So it's the combination of that accountability and really helping me and challenging my thinking with where I am. I really, really thank you, Adam, because as you said, there are more chapters to come and more layers to come, and I look forward to having you there to continue to guide me.
Thank you. Thank you. And I am excited about your journey and the energy you're putting forth, and it's this continued journey. So I am grateful for you sharing. This is wonderful. Anything else you'd like to share before we sign off?
No, I don't know. I just, like I said, run, don't walk, and sign up for that 30-day challenge, right? Because the better you feel and the cleaner your system is, you'll have all that energy that you've always wanted. Like, don't put this off, right? Like, literally don't, because if you find your world shrinking and shrinking and shrinking because you're not feeling good about your body, you're not feeling good about yourself, your joints hurt, oh my gosh, it is the linchpin, and it is literally the foundational piece that will unlock everything. I promise you.
Yeah, I like to describe the 30-day challenge or transformation as a bridge. That 30 days where you explained how simple it was. Like, I don't have to think about it. I just do this. Wow, my hunger went away. Wow, the weight started dropping. Well, what was I doing? I don't really. Oh, I just was following the steps and getting the results. And then after that, you're just hooked. You're like, what? I don't want to stop this. I feel too good. What's next? So
Yep.
that is a perfect representation of the power of this very simple transformation. You're a wonderful testimonial example of someone just going at it and getting it done. So I wish you continued success, and I'm looking forward to sharing more details. I'm sure you might have some before and after pictures that you might want to share. That might be really nice. No pressure, but definitely looking forward to hearing more about you, and appreciate you taking this time to share, and wish you the best.
Thank you.
All
I
right. Thank
appreciate it.
you.